welcome back to another Q&A video with me, Dr. Benji FM. How you doing? Welcome. So today I thought I'd focus the questions on, well, apart from one, which is from StatUp, which has been begging me to do for about 6 months, kind of along the lines of Football Manager and YouTube and things like that. So they were kind of the questions I based today. Thank you for the questions on Twitter and Facebook. I do appreciate it. Yeah, keep them coming. I'm going to do this every week, I think. Q&A Sunday is going to become a thing. I think I'm the first YouTuber to do this, so yeah, let's roll on with question number 1. Okay then, John Churchman asks, is your personal life affected by the work you do on YouTube, e.g. not going out to work, like due to working on videos? Well, really it's much like anything, John. It's if you want to put time into something, it means you take time from somewhere else, but you can balance it, right? Like me and Ellie go out for meals and things like that. It's not like we never do anything, we never go out. It's just you have to balance things as much as it is with any job, really. If you consider this a job, which some people do, some people don't, maybe I'll do an episode on that because I get a lot of questions about that one day. So yeah, it's affected, but it's not affected any differently to anyone else who does something, like who's really committed to something, you know what I mean? So if I want to do something, I will make time to do it. For example, next week I've made 10 videos in preparation for the fact that I'm not going to be around. So yeah, I've got no more to say, Your Honour. Next question, Josh Ranking asks, what is your playtime on Football Manager 2015? Keep up the great work. Thanks, Josh. I will do. Only because you've said so, though. So my playtime is about 1,500 hours, and that is playtime as well. That's not me leaving the game open and doing like other things. Like if I open Football Manager up, usually it's because I'm playing Football Manager. I know it sounds obvious, but I know a lot of people just sort of forget and leave it open. But usually, if it's open, it's being played. So yeah, quite a lot of hours, but I do quite a lot of stuff. So it makes sense, right? Simon Henderson asks, now that you've had the first 2 weekends of the new season, have you changed your opinion on the top 4 and the bottom 3? For those that don't know, I chose the City, United, Chelsea, Arsenal top 4, not in that order. I still think it'll be those 4. And the bottom 3, I said Leicester, West Brom and Sunderland. Well, I still think West Brom and Sunderland will suffer, although Leicester are mugging me off. So maybe not Leicester. And because I'm sorry, Leicester, I'm wearing a blue t-shirt in honour of Parma Drama t-shirt in it. It's not Leicester related. Next question is from Sam Lewis at SammyBoy23. Asks, what made you start a YouTube channel? Ask Benji, thanks for the question, Sam. I've said this quite a few times, but I used to have an old channel as part of the vlogging community. A lot of people that do vlogging today, I was quite friendly with back in the day. And with this channel, it was always a case of I felt like I had some unfinished business with YouTube. I felt like I'd done YouTube, and I almost stopped prematurely. You know, I always felt like I didn't finish what I wanted to. I don't know. I didn't have a goal, but I always felt like there was unfinished business. I always felt like I didn't try hard enough the first time, and if I tried a bit harder, I would have got a lot more out of it. And I get so much. If you watch the last Q&A, you kind of know why now. But I get so much out of doing this. I love this so much, and it's not like. For me, this has never been a chore. Like, even though I've had to make 20 videos this week, right? It's not, at no point have I felt like, oh man, I can't, like, I'm sick of this. Every one, I'm like, okay, right, idea, make sure it's good, upload it, render it, edit it, etc. So doing it again, also starting in the first place was like a creative outlet. You know, I just wanted something where I could do something that really, at the time I started 7-8 years ago, no one else was doing it. It wasn't cool to be a YouTuber or anything. It was just like people didn't know what it was. But now you ask people in the street who are a bit more mainstream, and they kind of get, oh, all right, you do YouTube videos. Oh, okay, cool. What do you do, etc. So there's a bit more of a, like, the balance is far better now. It's not so outweighed by people having no idea what you do, which is interesting. But yeah, so I started because I had unfinished business. Really, I guess that's the overall reason. Yeah. Ryan Kelly, who's RJK95 on the Twitters, says hashtag Ask Benji, so you've got to use the hashtag. How do you record your footage? Any advice for new YouTubers? I record my footage with a program called OBS. It's Open Service Broadcasts, Open Broadcasts Server, I think. Is that what it stands for? Just realised that I'm using it and I could just read it. Open Broadcast Software. I don't know. Yeah, but you can record videos with it. You can use it like a file output at a higher bitrate, or you can use it for streaming. So I use OBS and I record in Sony Vegas 12. Edit in Sony Vegas 12. My advice for new YouTubers is always the same, really, but I think it's quite good advice, and it might change over time. But my advice is, before you start, watch as many YouTubers as you can that are doing what you want to do. If there aren't any, that's kind of different, obviously. But if you're, for example, if you're doing Football Manager, watch the people that are doing Football Manager. And I don't just mean watch the people that are doing it and getting thousands of views. Watch people that are doing it and and learn what you think's good and what you think's bad, because that way you'll produce the best content and enjoy what you're making as well. If you make a video and about 6 minutes through the video you've made, which is 15 minutes long, you start doing something else, you need to do your video again because you're bored of it, so you can't expect other people to watch it. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? So my advice is watch as much as you can. Try and evolve what you do. Try and get better with every video. Like I never want to stand still. I always want to make the next video better. And I'm especially true to that with a series. Like I want to make the Swindon Lot better than Parma Drama, and I want the Swindon Lot to be better than Canary Island, and I wanted Parma Drama to be better than the Swindon Lot. So obviously the next thing I do has to now be better than Parma Drama. So it's going to be. But that's good though. That drives me. That's the challenge of like thinking, right, next level. What are you going to do, Ben? And hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully you'll like it. A question I get a lot of the time, but especially this week, James, who's at DXFOE, which looks a bit like Defoe, says, what do you think of the state of Parma now, selling all their trophies, training equipment and a lot? Really sad, innit? It's just really, really sad. They can appeal it though, so I'm hoping that the club appeal it. There's rules within FIFA and UEFA that a club, like the club who sort of created or won the trophies, gets to keep the trophies. So things like the UEFA Cup, I don't think will be sold on. But yeah, it's just really sad that a club is going to lose a lot of their history to people with big wallets, and I think that's like, it's ironic really that the state that with the state they're in, they couldn't get any money, and now people are going to be pickpocketing them for their trophies and things, which makes me a bit sad really, especially the relationship I've developed with Parma over the last few months. And the final question came from a Statistical Approach, and the only question I've decided to do a graphic for. So he asked me what's my sort of all-time Liverpool 11, and obviously I could do like a historical one, but I thought I would do the ones, like the players that I've remembered. So there might be a couple of shocks in there. I think there's one name in particular that will really shock, but won't be two that will really shock people. But bring it up on the screen now, right then. So let's go through it. Reina in goal. I just think he's been the most consistent throughout my time as a Liverpool fan. So this is really in the last 20 years when I've been like a conscious Liverpool fan, is the phrase I'd use. At right back, Glenn Johnson. Now that looks like a mental suggestion, and some people will be going, "What? You don't think Steve Finnan or Vegard Hegem was better?" Johnson, for 2, 3, 4, maybe even 4 years, was definitely for a couple of years was the best right back in the league, and when he played well, he was brilliant. When he didn't play so well in the last couple of years, we all knew about it, but for a time he was brilliant. The back two, Hippier and Carragher, just two natural leaders, two players that you could just, do you know what Liverpool lack right now? It's dependable players that you know what you're going to get. With some of our defenders at the moment, with Lovren, Sacco and even Skirtle, sometimes you feel a bit like, oh, I wonder what sort of performance we're going to get today. But with Hippier and Carragher, you always knew what sort of performance you were going to get, which made supporting Liverpool a little bit less stressful, and I thank them both for that. On the left side, Risa, just, release the Kraken, etc. Just, I liked him, and there's no other left back that I just liked as much as I liked Reece. He would bomb down that left-hand side. Defensively, he was a little bit like he'd do that a lot. If you ever watch a clip of Reece defending, it would be a lot of that. But yeah, John Reece would be up there for me. He'd probably be my favourite left-back in the Liverpool shirt. And I ain't picking Jose Enrique because he's diabolical. So the middle two then, Alonso and Gerrard. Obviously, I could play Gerrard further forward. Alonso, I said last week, is like my favourite player, just the way he passes the ball. And Gerrard, I'm just not going to say anything. I mean, I don't need to say anything. The front four, though, might be where it surprises a few people. Coutinho is the first name I'm putting in there. And although he's only been in the club for like quite a short time, really, Liverpool, in my memory, apart from maybe Steve McManaman, have never had a player who could just do something out of nothing. And what I mean out of that is, like, even when Suarez was here and Torres were here and Owen was here, they would always be like, they were almost like consistently good at the things they could do, right? And Coutinho is the sort of player that can have a bit of a rough game, and Stoke recently was a really good example. He was having a poor game, out of nowhere, bang, 30-yard goal, or out of nowhere, bang, slip through ball to Daniel Sturridge and he'd be onto it. And that's the kind of feeling you really like as a Liverpool fan, and he gets you off your seat. And Liverpool over the years haven't had a tricky Brazilian that gets you off your feet, and Coutinho is that guy, and he makes me feel excited to watch him. He's one of my favourite players in that Liverpool team right now because he's exciting. And I think he's probably the most shocking inclusion because he's so recent. But if you cast your mind back over years, that the Coutinho like is a player that we've never kind of had before. So I like him a lot. Suarez on the one side, Torres on the other, Owen through the middle. Torres and Suarez are kind of obvious to why. They were fantastic. And Owen up top was one of the first players I loved. Although he went to the Manx and became a little bit of a knob. But I mean, I still quite like him just because of the way he influenced my life when I was younger. Like, I wanted to be Michael Owen, you know what I mean? That was kind of my thing. So yeah, they're my team. I've done some notable mentions as well. Players like Coy and Bellamy. Patrick Berger was a favourite of mine when I was growing up. He scored a smashing goal once against Manchester United. Jamie Redknapp was like Alonso without being Spanish and really, really good, but he was still decent. Daniel Agger would just... I feel like I needed another centre-back to give a notable mention to. Henderson, I love my boy Jordan. One day he'll be in that starting 11 maybe, although he'll have to do quite a lot to get in there. Lucas had a spell like a few years ago where I thought he was the best defensive midfielder, one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, and that might seem crazy, but he picked up an injury against Chelsea, I think it was, and that set him back a long way. And then people kind of forget that he was, for a time when Liverpool were pretty shit, he was our shining light, let's put it that way. Heskey and Crouch and Fowler. I don't want to put Fowler in that bracket. Heskey and Crouch brought something different. People sort of laugh at Heskey now and say he was rubbish, he couldn't score, but he gave Michael Owen a career at Liverpool just by assisting things. Peter Crouch scored a goal. He's like, Peter Crouch's first goal was a deflected shot that went about 60 metres in the air and then just dropped in against Wigan, and I loved him for that. And he scored a bicycle kick in front of the Kop, which is crazy. Robbie Fowler was just... Now, my relationship with Robbie Fowler, and a lot of people my age, I think, will be quite strange, because from the time when I was like 0 to 11, Robbie Fowler was at Liverpool, but I was growing up, so like my conscious thoughts of Robbie Fowler aren't that vivid. And then when they were more conscious, he wasn't even at Liverpool. He went to Leeds, he went to City, he came back to Liverpool again. But so yeah, although Robbie Fowler for a lot of people a little bit older than me would be like first name on the sheet, for me he's not quite like there, because, as I say, my conscious memory doesn't quite pitch him there. Do you know what I mean? And Danny Murphy was one of my favourite underrated players at Liverpool. Just like clockwork, he was just I really liked him. So that's sort of my starting 11 and my bench. So there you are. So yeah, if you've got any other questions, next week I'm going to answer questions. What I'm going to say is I'm going to let the comment section dictate the questions for next week, because I'm going to be aware I need to just look at all of the questions. So ask whatever you like. Comment section of this video, whatever you like, and I will answer the best ones next week. So make them good. If you want to make them a little bit more in depth and I only answer like 3 or 4 questions, that's good. I think that makes for an interesting Q&A. And obviously try and ask questions that I've not answered before, so go back and watch last week's Q&A for a little bit of advice on that. So from me, Dr. Benji, thank you very much for watching. We love with care. I'll see you again next time. Love you. Bye. That was a weird end, but I mean, it's happened now. It's too late to go back.